$1,200 a month, 7 birds. No barn, no pasture, no rooster crowing at 4 a.m. to wake the whole street and get you recorded. But here is the part most videos bury, so I am putting it first. That $1,200 is not what one bird hands you on day one. It is the aggregate, all 7 streams stacked, built out, running a while. Anyone who tells you a single hutch of quail prints that by next month is lying, and the comments always catch them. So why are we skipping chickens? Because chickens are a money trap dressed up as a side hustle. One rooster alone gets you banned in half the suburbs in America. Hens take 5 to 6 months to lay, eggs sell for pennies a dozen against a flooded market, and the margin barely covers feed. These 7 birds are smaller, quieter, faster, and worth more per sale. Here is the loophole. Many of these get classified as game birds, not poultry, which slips them past chicken-only ordinances. But that federal classification does not override your HOA, and your state wildlife agency may demand a permit chickens never needed. So before any of the math, one rule: check your city ordinance, your state wildlife rules, and your HOA covenant. The loophole is real. It is also not a free pass. Let us count it down. Number 7 to number 1. Number 7. The Indian Peafowl. The peacock. Yes, the bird from the zoo, and people genuinely keep them in backyards for money. The pitch you have heard is feathers, hundreds of dollars in feathers a year, plus glamorous chicks at premium prices. So why is the flashiest bird on this list sitting dead last? Because it is the one most likely to lose you money. Real math. Startup runs $400 to $900, and most of that is not the birds. It is the aviary, because peafowl need 8 feet of covered, dig-proof height, or raccoons clear them out in week 1. Ongoing is $30 to $70 a month for a starter pair in feed and worming. Now the honest monthly number, and brace yourself, roughly -$30 to +$50 a month for a true solo beginner. Break even at best. One breeder with 9 pens said after 5 years he never turned a profit, even selling chicks. The cash comes in lumps a couple times a year, not a paycheck. Who actually buys them? 2 real channels. First, other peafowl keepers through the United Peafowl Association classifieds, which is where most birds change hands. Second, hatching egg buyers on eBay and local Facebook poultry groups, where eggs go for around $15 each. That feather salary you were promised, 150 feathers at $5, it collapses to maybe $50 to $200 a year per bird once you account for broken feathers and a market flooded by cheap imports. The legal landmine here is noise. Peafowl are technically classified as ornamental poultry, not game birds, so they dodge some rules. But that 100-decibel scream is the #1 complaint that gets birds removed. Several Texas cities specifically ban male peafowl for it. And an HOA can ban all fowl no matter what your city allows. Check your city, your state, and your HOA before you buy a single bird. So why is it on the list at all? Because one peacock sale is worth 10 to 50 laying hens. It is the highest ticket, lowest frequency bird here. That is exactly why it loses. Let us move to a bird that actually sells. Number 6, the Chukar Partridge. A small game bird with a real motivated buyer chickens will never have. Bird dog trainers and hunting preserves who pay for live, flight-conditioned birds. Almost nobody in the suburbs raises them, and there is a sneaky reason why. The thing people assume makes Chukar easy is actually the thing that trips them. Real math. Startup is $400 to $900 because captive chukar will not brood their own eggs, so an incubator is mandatory, plus a netted flight pen the law often requires. Ongoing runs $60 to $110 a month in pricier game bird feed for a hobby batch. Honest monthly number, $50 to $250, lumpy and seasonal, and many beginners net near zero in year one while building a customer list. A bird sells for about $18. This is side money, not an engine. Two best buyers. First, bird dog trainers and field trial clubs, your most reliable backyard scale customer, buying live flight birds on repeat. Second, small local hunting preserves, though the big ones want 500 bird lots you cannot fill, so you supply the little guy. Here is the legal landmine, and it is the whole reason chukar trips people. They are classified as non-native game birds, and people assume game bird status skips the backyard poultry rules the way quail does. For chukar, it is the opposite. Game bird status usually adds a permit. Indiana wants a game breeder's license, around $25 a year, just to possess them, with inventory logs and sale receipts. Many states legally require an escape-proof netted enclosure an inspector can fail you on. And Florida bites the moment you sell, because the 100-bird exemption is personal use only. Do not copy the quail loophole logic here. Verify your state wildlife agency first, or you are breeding contraband. Check your city, your state, and your HOA. So why does it beat chickens? A live chukar fetches $12 to $18 from a buyer chickens cannot reach, and they eat less feed per bird. That edge only cashes out if those niche buyers exist near you. Next bird has the same buyer, bigger. Number 5. The ring-necked pheasant. Same preserve and trainer market as the chukar, but a bigger, more striking bird that moves by the hundreds into hunting clubs every fall. The meat money pitch is everywhere online. It is also the part that quietly loses money, and almost nobody says so out loud. Real math. Startup is $400 to $900 for 50 chicks, a brooder, and a tall netted grow-out pen, since pheasants fly and turn cannibal when crowded. Ongoing is $50 to $150 a month, mostly the 18 to 22 pounds of feed each bird eats to maturity. Honest monthly number, $150 to $500 net in a realistic first year, and only seasonally, around spring chick sales and fall preserve demand. Treat $300 a month as a solid target, not a floor. Many beginners lose money year one. A flight bird sells for up to $19. Two best buyers. First, hunting and flushing preserves and gun clubs, which buy mature flight birds by the dozen to the 100, the biggest volume buyer in this whole category. Second, hatching egg and started chick buyers through local Facebook groups and eBay's pheasant categories. The legal landmine is the license trap, sharp and specific. Ring-necked pheasant is a regulated game bird in most states, so you need a state game breeder or propagation permit to sell and often just to hold them. The permit is cheap, $25 to $50 in most states. Skipping it is the real risk, including fines and confiscated birds. Indiana's edge is brutal. Hold them more than 5 days without the license, and you are already out of compliance. Get the permit before the birds arrive, not after. Check your city, your state wildlife agency, and your HOA. Now the honest correction. That pitch about quick meat money? Dressed pheasant wholesales around $2 to $3 a pound on a 2-pound bird, which barely covers the feed to raise it. The money is in live birds, not meat, and it is seasonal. So why does it beat chickens? One flight bird outsells a laying hen, And the preserve channel is a repeat commercial buyer chickens simply do not have. From here, the birds get cheaper and the buyers get easier. Number 4. Guinea Fowl. The tick-eating, garden-saving alarm system that homesteaders swear by, and the bird most likely to be missold to you as a quiet, stealthy, small-space backyard bird. It is not. The thing that makes it valuable is also the thing that gets it banned. Real math. Startup is a friendly $150 to $400 for a flock of a dozen Keats at $4 to $8 each, a brooder, and a basic coop. Ongoing is genuinely low, $15 to $30 a month, because adults forage most of their own diet spring through fall. Honest monthly number, $30 to $150, seasonal, and effectively zero in winter when they stop laying. Call it $50 to $100 a month averaged over the year. This is side income, and the biggest real return is tick control, a saved cost, not cash. A Keat sells for about $8. Two best buyers. First, other homesteaders and preppers buying Keats and hatching eggs because Keats are hard to brood and local demand routinely outstrips supply. Second, specialty and ethnic meat buyers, since Guinea is a prized table bird in French and West African cooking, sold live to urban live bird markets. The legal landmine is mostly local, not state, which is the good news. Guinea fowl are domesticated poultry, so they usually do not trigger a state game bird permit. But the catch is noise and zoning. Their alarm call hits 90 to 100 decibels, louder than the rooster you are fleeing, and they roam wide over fences onto neighbors' land. Many ordinances set lot size minimums. Some residential zones ban guineas by name, and an HOA can ban all fowl outright. Check your city, your county, and your HOA. Now the correction, head on. Anyone selling guineas as a discrete small space bird is wrong. They are louder than a rooster and refuse to stay in a small yard. They belong on half an acre or more with tolerant neighbors, not a tight suburban lot. So why do they beat chickens? They control ticks without shredding your garden the way chickens do. They self-feed in season, and Keats sell at a premium because they are hard to raise. Next, we get to the birds that actually feed a buyer who is already hungry. Number 3. Squab Pigeons, the utility king breed. Squab is roast baby pigeon, a high-end restaurant delicacy. And here is the strange part. The parents do all the feeding for you. No brooder, no heat lamp, no chick rearing labor. So why is the easiest to raise bird this far down? Because raising it is not the problem. Selling it is. Real math. Startup is $700 to $1,500, mostly 10 to 12 proven breeding pairs at $50 to $165 a pair, plus a predator-proof loft. Ongoing is a low $25 to $60 a month because the parents feed the young on crop milk, so there is no brooder cost. Honest monthly number, $150 to $400, and only if you have a buyer locked in first. Veteran keepers are blunt that high-volume squab sellers are often just breaking even. A dressed squab sells for around $35. This is side income, not a salary. Two best buyers. First, high-end and fine dining restaurants directly, where squab is a classic French and Cantonese menu item, so you pitch a chef a steady local supply. Second, ethnic and live bird markets in Asian, Latino, and Middle Eastern communities, who often prefer to buy and butcher live birds. Here is the legal landmine, and it is the opposite of every other bird so far. Squab is the easy one legally. Domestic pigeons are classified as poultry, not game birds, and are not protected wildlife, so there is no state wildlife permit. The catch is meat sales. Selling dressed birds falls under federal poultry rules, and while a small producer exemption exists, many states do not mirror it. Some cities also require a pigeon permit or ban coops in residential zones. So check your city, your HOA, and your state's meat sale rules before you sell a single bird. The honest correction. You have seen headlines about $3,000 breeding pairs and pigeons selling for over $1 million. That is racing and show stock, pure auction economics with nothing to do with meat. Your product is a $35 culinary squab with genuinely thin margins. So, why does it beat chickens? Higher margin per bird, faster turnover, almost no daily labor, and a tiny 8x8 loft can out-earn the same footprint of meat chickens if you have the buyer. The catch is always the buyer. The last two birds sell themselves. Number 2. Khaki Campbell ducks. The best egg-laying duck on the planet, outlaying most chickens, and each egg sells for roughly double a chicken egg. There is finally walk-up demand here, real people lining up at a market. But there is a famous number on every hatchery page that is quietly a lie. Real math. Startup is a gentle $250 to $450 for 6 sexed ducklings, around $9 each, a predator-proof coop, and a brooder, with no pond needed, just a tub of clean water. Ongoing is $40 to $70 a month, because ducks splash and soak their bedding, so bedding is a real recurring cost chickens do not have. Honest monthly number? $40 to $90 net in peak season, often 0 to 40 in winter and molt, averaging under $75 a month in year 1. This covers its own feed plus a little. A duck egg dozen sells for $7 to $12. Two best buyers. First, farmers market shoppers, where duck eggs reliably move at $7 to $12 a dozen to specialty buyers. Second, home and craft bakers, your most repeatable repeat customer, because the richer, larger yolks make better baked goods. Egg allergy buyers who tolerate duck but not chicken are a small, loyal bonus. The legal landmine here is simpler. Khaki Campbells are domestic poultry, no game bird permit needed, which is a genuine edge. The gatekeepers are local. Most cities allow ducks under the same backyard poultry cap as chickens, but your HOA can still ban all poultry, and selling eggs adds state grading and labeling rules. One hard edge: do not swap in Muscovy to look exotic. Muscovy are regulated wildlife in Florida with a possession permit and a no-release rule. The khaki is the clean farm bird. Check your city, your state ag department, and your HOA. Now, the famous lie. That 340 eggs a year number on the hatchery page is a 1950s record from a single bird penned in perfect conditions. Real backyard ducks do 250 to 280 in their prime, less in winter and year 1. Plan your money on 3 to 4 dozen a week from 6 birds, not an egg a day. So why does it beat chickens? More eggs at double the price with real walk-up demand. One bird left, and it is the fastest of them all. Number 1. Coturnix Quail. Specifically the premium Celadon blue egg and jumbo hatching egg lines. The smallest, quietest, fastest bird here, the one allowed in cities and HOAs that flatly ban chickens, and the one with a real novelty hook. It lays a striking blue egg people pay a premium for. This is the best honest backyard money play on the list. Here is why. Real math. Startup is $300 to $700 for premium hatching eggs or started birds, a tabletop incubator, and a stacked hutch. Ongoing is genuinely tiny because game bird crumble runs about 35 to 50 cents per bird per month. So 10 birds cost $3 to $4 a year each fully loaded. Honest monthly number? $50 to $300 net in year one, and many beginners just offset feed at first. A documented small celadon covey selling half its hatching eggs grosses about $96 a month. The premium blue and jumbo angle raises the ceiling, but a beginner is supply constrained. A few dozen birds simply can't make volume. A dozen premium hatching eggs sells for $24 to $48. Two best buyers. First, hatching egg buyers, other hobbyists upgrading their flocks with celadon and jumbo genetics, your highest margin channel, the one where popular sellers run 12 to 16-week wait lists. Second, farmers markets and local stands for eating eggs and started birds, where the blue eggshell is itself the marketing hook. The legal landmine is the false comfort of the loophole. Yes, quail are usually classified as game birds, which is what exempts them from chicken ordinances. But that is not universal cover. Florida lets you keep 100 or fewer for personal use, but the moment you sell birds or eggs, you need a game farm license, about $50 a year. New York requires a state domestic game bird breeder license to sell at all. And an HOA can ban the bird the state happily calls a game bird. Check your state wildlife agency, your city, and your HOA before you sell. The honest correction, and it is the big one. That headline, "Raise premium quail and make $3,000 a month," is a built-out operation of 1,500 plus birds shipping eggs at scale. One documented eBay seller hits around $4,000 a month on 1,500 birds. A solo beginner with a few dozen birds realistically nets double digits to low triple digits in year one while building genetics, reputation, and a wait list. The ceiling is real. The ramp is months to years, not weeks. So how do these stack into that $1,200 a month? You do not buy all 7 at once. You build in order. Start with quail at number 1. They are the cheapest entry, the fastest cash, the quietest, and the most likely to be legal where you live. So they fund everything else in weeks, not seasons. Add ducks next for steady walk-up egg money and a second market customer. Once you have a market table running, layer in guineas if you have the land and tolerant neighbors, because they cut your feed bill and control ticks while Keats sell on the side. Then, only if a buyer exists near you, add a cash flow bird with a dedicated channel. Squab if you can land a restaurant, or pheasant and chukar if there is a preserve or a dog trainer crowd within driving distance. Peacocks come last, or never, treated as a slow, ornamental asset, not income. Notice the honest part. Stacking streams cuts your risk and smooths the cash, but it does not erase cost or work. Every bird here still eats every single day, whether or not it's sold this week. The math works because the streams stack, not because any one of them is magic. If you take one thing from this, take the build order. Start with the quail, because it is the fastest, quietest, most legal money on this entire list, and it funds everything above it. I keep these numbers honest on purpose, the losses with the wins, because that is the only way you can actually plan around them. And if that is the kind of straight math you want before you spend $1, subscribe, and you will have it for the next bird. Speaking of which, next video I am going all the way in on quail, the full step-by-step from a single hutch to a real hatching egg wait list. The exact build that turns that $96 covey into a few hundred a month. That is the one to watch before you buy a single bird.